Congratulations to you guys, man. That is amazing. I love it. All right. Tara, you had something you wanted to say too?
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on that because I went into the office this morning and that's what Dylan told me, that we were number 6 in the nation. And I was like, what? He said, yep, our little team here in Kailua Kona. So I just wanted to send a huge shout out and to all the people on this Team Freedom call, because collectively it's all of these efforts. And Lonnie and I are sitting in a home that we just got under contract. We're waiting for the home inspector to come, and we're super pumped about that, because it's going to be one of our first sales of the year. And I'm just super grateful for this team. We couldn't have done it without each and every one of you guys. So have a blessed 2023, everyone.
I love it. I love it. Great leadership. That's it. That's what it is. Dylan, you do an amazing job with great leadership. So good job. And you're doing it at this house. Look at you guys at a meeting at the house. I love it. No excuses this year. In fact, everybody should have their camera on. Like at this point, I think I set the meetings just in time. 9 a.m. Hawaii. Y'all should be out of bed and at least dressed. 2 o'clock Eastern. You guys should be definitely halfway through your day. And 11 o'clock Pacific. Everybody should be dressed and smiling. And if you're not, we still love you no matter what. So we'd love to see your smiling face on this camera. Good for you. Thank you so much for sharing it, Tara. Anybody else? Oh, look at Sasha over there on the treadmill. I love it. Anybody else want to jump on something?
I got something.
Go for it, Lonnie.
Real quick. So this year I'm trying to up my game, and I did my first video for the year and just get out of my comfort zone, and hopefully it'll be the start of many more to come. So
I love it. I love it. Good for you. I love it. Hey, it's a great start. I actually did my very first reel the other day too. I did my first reel where I actually had the closed caption thing on. I figured that thing out. Thank you, Eric Magnuson and my girl.
I'm going to do mine too.
All right.
That's on my list. I got to do reels.
I love it. Do reels. Everybody's doing it, but hey, jump on the bandwagon. Do it. I love it. Good to get out of your comfort zone. I love it. Ronnie, go for it, buddy. Raise your hand. Go for it.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Cool. Well, I'm in day 4 of my 30-day transformation tracker from the Miracle Morning. So it took me a month or so to actually buy the book, but you know, for me, as someone that started doing personal growth work in 1985, it really combines. It's just a very good combination of all kinds of things that make sense to create a level 10 life. And so thank you for bringing it. It's always amazing to me when I discover something out there or someone that's been doing that work, like that guy Hal is. Like, there are just so many amazing people out there that, you know, can help us.
Absolutely.
So thanks.
Absolutely. I love it. And I'm glad you read the book. I mean, if you guys know, on the Classroom, you guys probably posted the new book for the month, How to Building a Story Brand. We got this actually from our business coach that did our business planning clinic that Brent brought out to Roseville. Great read. I've already been like in the 3rd, 4th chapter of this book right now. It's a really eye-opener on marketing and branding yourself. How it's weird that most people actually spend tons of money and they don't market and brand themselves correctly to the clients. This gives you like a 7-step program, a build-out platform on how to build your marketing brand. So what a great read. This is for our monthly. I posted it on the Classwork. There's an Amazon link on the Team Freedom Facebook. There's an Amazon link. So thank you, Ronnie, for bringing that up. The Miracle Morning, I'm as my well. I got up to my savers this morning as well. So I'm right with you, buddy. I love it. Brandy, you had to raise your hand real quick. Go for it.
I just wanted to say that there's an app. I don't know if everyone knows this for the Miracle Morning. So I read the one for real estate agents.
Yes.
And I haven't started mine yet because I'm just lazy and I'll do it next week. But but the fact that it has an app that says, hey, like, dummy, you didn't do your things today, it kind of reminds me every day that I'm slacking. So I'm just, it's free. Why not? Right?
Absolutely. Hey, whatever works for you, the best app is the one you actually use. So get on it and do whatever it takes to hold you accountable to do this. Those savers literally have changed the way I think, honestly, every morning. And this is like my 3rd time reading that Hal Elrod book, The Miracle Morning. But I'm finally doing it, which is odd, right? Finally doing it the 3rd time around. So life-changing so far. I'm with you, Ronnie. I'm like 2 weeks into this myself. So a 30-day challenge on doing my savers every morning, waking up an hour earlier and doing my 6 things. So I'm excited. Hope everybody can even get back in that book too and start reading it. If you didn't get a chance to do it, do it. It's going to change your life. All right, before we move on, anything else?
Well, I was going to say my challenge is that my beginning routine is the S, but I do the S for an hour. So that makes the savers almost 2 hours. So it's
That's
kind
good.
of like just going into the zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Totally. And as he talks about that in that book, there's no one way to make the savers work. So you figure out how do you customize it to work for you, whatever you need to do. The key is doing it. Just do it. That's it. So anything else besides that, honestly, white noise. But thank you, Ronnie. All right. Anybody else before we jump forward here? We have an amazing guest that's going to literally light your fire today. And I think more appropriate than ever, starting this year for 2023, what better way to infuse yourself with some vitamin D? And Casey Council is the vitamin D. She really is. Crazy. We had her husband on here, Council-Geha, several weeks ago. You guys remember him? An amazing, talented individual as well. Casey actually is more talented. Don't tell Rick I said that, but Casey is even more. She has an amazing energy around her. I'm super funny. We met and found out our stories are very similar, our past stories. So we had a great connection there. But I actually coached with Casey for a little bit. She has amazing information. By the way, just FYI, my mortgage guy didn't make it this morning. Carl, for some reason, he had a mix up in his counter, so we're not doing a mortgage minute. But so we're going to jump right into our speaker today. And I'm actually super excited. I've been trying to get Casey for a while here. She's so busy with her transferring and coaching and building other people's lives, but she was blessed to give us say. So thank you, Casey, so much for your time today. But also for those who don't know who she is, she created the third-party validation piece that you guys, I'm always encouraging you guys to do, the third-party validation. So she's going to speak a little bit today. I kind of left it open to her to kind of blank canvas. She's great at whatever she wants to do. So for moving forward, let's go, Casey. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. We're blessed, and I love you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Chris, for the invitation to be here today. I like seeing people on video. So I want to start off by saying that a thank you to those of you that are on video. This seems to be a conversation. I know Rick's got 9 real estate sales agents that are part of the Council-Geha team, and on huddles, we have new leadership within the organization. She's like, video is non-negotiable. I don't care what time it is. I don't care if you brush your teeth or what you look like. We are spending time together. And when you are a little black box, we are not together, even if you think we are together. So I want to say thank you to those of you that are on video, because man, if you're burning calories, Sasha, thank you for coming on video. That is inspiring, right? So the connections are the things that move us in life. And there's ways. I always say that we're always contributing something and we're always receiving something. And one way that we all contribute to each other is with our physical presence when we show up. And so I want to acknowledge those of you that are on video, regardless of what's going on in the background, and grateful for your willingness to engage at that level. And that kind of is just, I'm in a very different space than when Chris invited me to be on this call, because one of my best friends, and I think the most respected mentor that I have in my life, passed in a tragic accident yesterday, unexpectedly. And so it's given me some real different food for thought about what I wanted to talk about today. And, you know, I was speaking with a good friend of ours. The man that passed is the God's father to my God's son. So we share the same God child. And we were talking with the birth father of that. I was talking with the birth father of that God child, who happens to be one of my best friends. And I said, you know, of all of the people, it's a shock, because for Nathan lived the miracle morning before the miracle morning was a thing. For 40 years of his 62 years of life, he got up every day with a routine and a structure to feed himself, to nourish himself, to care for himself, so that he could make the biggest contribution and impact when he went out into the world and to life each day. And he knew that time was not promised. And he squeezed every ounce of every moment of every day, knowing that it was a gift that he woke up to each day to receive it. And so laying that personal foundation, I heard someone reference Miracle Morning and Savers and those things, is I want to just anchor that, because we always say that championships aren't won in the ring, they're won in the practice. and the practices that we each have personally and that we're willing to commit to and to do consistently over long periods of time are the practices that have us win in the ring of life. And that's in a personal context and how we do that, and also in a professional context. And each one of us brings both of those contexts to the life that we lead. And as I was thinking about Nathan, for 13 years, he was my mentor. And I could say that whether we were in Vietnam, working a new market, or in South America, or in Europe, or right here in the US working together, that every single experience I had was the same. Clear, committed, certain, only preaching that what he practiced. The guy did not drink alcohol or caffeine or put anything processed or white sugar bread in his body, period. And so, he was one of those people that was like, man, that guy's going to live to be 150. He takes care of mental, physical, emotional, spiritual sides of his life in a way that I've never seen. And a businessman that when he passed, left his family with over, close to $500 million in net worth. An incredible man and a leader, an example on all fronts. So why am I bringing that up today? You guys don't know the guy. However, everybody's got something going on. And the truth is, every single one of us have a footprint that is our reach. It's like a fingerprint. And there's some people that could pass, and their family and a close circle of friends would really be the ones that feel that passing, right? When I think about Nathan passing, is hundreds of thousands of people that knew, that experienced this man over the course of 30 years of a well-spent life and career that literally spanned the globe. And so the impact of that fingerprint and the people that are touched by that is significant. And here's what I'll say. I want each one of you to start thinking about is that your fingerprint is unique to you. No one else has it. No one else is you. And there is an impact that each of you, including me, are here to make. And what I want you to start thinking about is when you think about that fingerprint that is unique to you, and you're to be introspective for a moment in your real estate sales businesses, for those of you that are growing and building and scaling your organizations here within EXP, I want you to think about the touch and the reach of your personal fingerprint right now today as it exists. And bring that to mind. And then what I also want you to think about is, what if the value of your fingerprint went up tenfold in how you see it yourself, and what you have to contribute, and what you have to offer, and what you have to educate, and what you have to teach, and what you have to share, and what you have to give back? And what if you were to up the ante in the way that you share it, and the way that you contribute, and the difference that you make? Right? One of the things I hear Rick talk about so often is that anyone that's in business for themselves is they're in a business of lead generation. Yet, who likes to do it? Not very many people. Nobody, right? And you'll often hear him talk about, doesn't matter what your behavioral style is, if you're a high D on the disc and you're a driver personality, you don't like to lead generate because you don't want to have to call 20 people to get one on the phone, because time is your big pet peeve. You don't want to waste your time. So a D, while they don't care about the no's and rejection, doesn't like lead generating. And somebody that's more in that behavioral style, doesn't want the rejection of hearing the no. And if I never pick up the phone to call someone, I'm never going to get the no. So that style doesn't naturally lead generate either. And S, they've said yes to so many other things outside of the things that are important for themselves. How could they possibly put personal lead generation in their schedule to do that? And the C, the correct, the compliant, the conforming, part of that assessment and personality is one that needs to know all the data and the ratios and what that's going to be, and spends forever in analysis paralysis on whether it's going to be worth the time to do it. And so nobody, regardless of who you are or what your fingerprint and makeup is naturally going to wake up and lead generate and do outreach. We may want our social media to do it for us. We may want our mailers to do it for us. We may want our, email communications, paper mail that you may send out to do it for us. But the truth is that when people have an experience of you and your unique fingerprint and who you are and what you have to contribute to business, to life, to their lives, they will be enriched by you. They will become loyal to you, and you have an influence. And so I want you to start to think about, what if I became more intentional with the influence that I may or may not realize that I have? And what would happen if I was to continue to, with structure and with intention and with purpose, continue to develop my influence that I have with myself, right? When I tell myself I'm going to do something and I do it, my self-esteem goes up because I am building credibility. When I tell myself I'm going to do something and I don't do it, I haven't kept my word to myself, my self-esteem goes down and I break credibility with myself. So what if each one of us started to become more clear, more purposeful, more intentional about the potential impact that we can make and what's possible with the fingerprint that's unique to you, with the fingerprint that's unique to me? And what would that start to look like? What would that start to look like? I'm an introvert. So I'm going to give each one of you something that you can do as something actionable today on the call. How many of you have chosen a word or a context for this year? Just by show of hands. Okay, a couple of you. You'll see this on social media. Generally, it has to do with New Year's resolutions, sometimes not. However, you'll see, people will pick, this is my word for the year. And we're going to do a deep dive on what that can actually mean for you. Rick and I spent 4 days in conversations to get clear on what that choice was going to be, because it's not just about picking the word. It is, what is the word that is going to be a decision-making filter for me that is intentional and purposeful for this year based on what we want to experience and what we want to create. So I'll give you an example of what that means. There's been times, because we do this every year, we pick a context personally, individually, and we pick one together as a couple. And every year we do this. And so there's been some times in years past where we'll be like a few months into the year and something happens where it feels like life or business is going sideways. And I'll say, what was your context for this year? And Rick will be like, I don't remember. What was it? Right? And so then that's happened with me as well. When you're choosing a context for the year, it is something that's designed to be a filter for everything that you will create, and something that you use to help you as an anchor and as a lighthouse. So as an anchor and as a lighthouse, an anchor to keep you grounded in what is and where you're going, and a lighthouse so that you have the clarity and the vision to keep moving forward. And the truth is, life is going to happen. All kinds of crazy things are going to happen. That is like what will always be, regardless of what year it is. And the opportunity for each person on this call to choose a context is like setting the sail on a sailboat. So as we were talking over, the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, all the way up until the 1st, we're having these conversations, and I was on a leadership call with someone that had said, I have all these great agents in my organization. They're producing agents in real estate. They're killing it in real estate, and they're not using their influence within the real estate community to attract other agents or to, talk with them about EXP. And he said, I want a conversation on how to activate, like, how can I activate that from to happen? And there was something about the word activate that stood out to me. This is like almost 3 weeks ago now that we were on this call, and it was, it was with me. I'm like, activate, maybe that's my context for 2023. And what are all the different ways I could use that as a context? Activate, when I'm activating my mind, doing my meditation and visualization, I'm creating new neural pathways in my brain that don't yet exist through that activation process. There's a way I could use activate. Activate my physical muscles as I'm going to do strength and resistance training, and I activate them. It's going to help me get physically stronger. Activate. I activate myself when I go out and how I choose to participate in my business and my life each day, and who I'm going to speak with and who I'm going to meet, and what kind of quality conversations I could have to activate something within them to help them move closer to where they want to be. And I was like, all of this thing around activate. I'm like, this is going to be my word for the year, is going to be activate. And it's not my word for the year. It's not my word for the year at all. Because choosing a context is not just about having a word that's going to be a word that's going to be great for the year. It's going to be a decision-making filter. So what do I mean by that? As I started to dig a little deeper, I thought, what about 2022 and any of the years past is an experience that I'm having repeatedly, that's not an experience I really care for, that I'm not energized by, that I have resistance on. And I started to bring to mind some things. And one of the things is, for those of you that I don't know well, I am by nature an introvert. Like, in the pandemic, I thought I had died and gone to heaven because there's no one expecting to see me anywhere. And that could have gone on for the rest of my life. And given, you know, a handful of people that I could see and engage with, I would have been like happy as a clam. Because the year before the pandemic, we were on 73 business flights for the year, 7-3, all around, serving people, doing conferences, coaching, meeting with people, doing events, like, right? And so very outside of my comfort zone, very outside of my natural behavior, very outside of who I am. Why? Because I can make an intellectual decision to go do the things that I know are going to support what we want to create based on our dreams and our vision. So I started thinking like, okay, great. So what is this? If I'm going to set a really powerful context for 2023 that is going to guide me, what is going to be a game changer and what I want to experience? And here's what I discovered. Now, this might be TMI for some people. However, now I probably have all of your attention by the fact I said TMI. So where Rick and I live, as a result of EXP and all of the blessings that it's brought to our life, we were able to, for those of you that have seen us before, realize one of our dreams. And we purchased our dream home in 2021. That's 2 blocks off of the Pacific Ocean in the Monterey Bay, right along the Pacific Grove Recreation Trail, where we walk our dog in the morning and in the evening. And we've been coming down here for 14 years as a result of being intentional, being focused, and plugging into all the opportunities that were available to us within the EXP platform. We were able to give ourselves a little bit of payback in the form of purchasing this home. Now, I love it here. I am currently looking at the ocean over the top of my laptop, and I have close to a 260-degree view of the entire bay. I am in heaven. And so as I look back at 2022, what I realized is every time we went to pack our bags, and we went to every event last year, we were at both of the corporate events, we were at all of the Brent Gove events, and then we were on the road with our organization doing our own events. Every time I would go to pack my bag, I would say to Rick, why are we leaving? Like, can't we just do Zooms? I hate leaving here. I love being here. And then I would suck it up, pack my bags. I'm like, I'm obviously not sending my husband out to go build our empire and support our organization by himself, because it's a we, right? So it's not that I'm going to go or not go. I'm going. Yet the experience that I'm having is I am resisting the going, right? And then most of these events are, 2 to 4 or 5 day events. The guaranteed by day 2, my little introverted self is like, I just want to lock myself in the room until we get on a plane to go home, because I am like peopled out already. I love people. However, I'm peopled out. Right. And then you're like, okay, that's great. Who cares? Suck it up. Find a new gear, get up into the next day and keep going, because we got 2 or 3 more days of the event to go. Right. And then we get back home. Oh my God, I'm so glad we're home. And then I unplug all of my, paraphernalia. I go sleep for 12 hours. I don't want to see anyone or talk to anyone and recharge, right? This is a consistent experience. And so I said to Rick, I'm like, what if my context was joy? He's like, that's it. Like, he hadn't said that about any of the 13 words I had gone through and considering what was going to be my context for the year, including activate. And I landed on joy. So why? And this is the point of the story, is what you pick as your context for the year is something that can be your anchor to keep both feet on the ground and your lighthouse to keep your vision moving forward. If I am truly operating from my context of joy, what is going to be the experience I create for myself and as a byproduct, my husband who has to listen to me when it's time to pack our bags and when we're boots on the ground and when we're day 2 into a major event and my context is joy. Because I use that word intentionally as a guiding light for this year as a focus, it does not matter what is happening in or around me. I am going to filter it through that context. Now, that's easier said.
It's all right, Max.
That is easier said than done. You know, okay, great. You pick a context for the year and you get really clear what you're going to be intentional with and live with for that year based on the next iteration of yourself. Has anybody read the book Your Future Self by Benjamin Hardy? Okay, so the concept with that is for you to create something more, something better, something different than what you've currently created to this point in your life. It's going to require the next version of you, the next iteration of you, the future version of yourself that doesn't yet exist. Thus comes in the Miracle Morning practice as part of developing that future version of yourself as one of the ways to do that. However, when you think about that into the future, I'm not done. I'm for sure not done. And every year will require something new, something different for me to grow into. So as I take on and I think about, okay, my context for this year is joy. And then what happens? Yesterday, we get the news about Nathan. Nathan, who has personally guided and mentored me in so many levels that I've been on that plane with him. I've been with his family in their multiple homes around the world. And I've been the beneficiary of his knowledge and his investing. And I'm like, wait a minute, I just set my context for joy. And here I feel like life is crashing down around me. And, every leader is looking for a leader, right? I'm a leader. You're a leader. I'm always looking for a leader to listen to, someone that has already created what I want to create, has already mastered something at a level that I've not yet mastered, to walk into, to step into, to walk with, right? And that person for me, more than any person in my entire life, is now no longer physically here. And my context is joy. When you pick your context of what that word's going to be for the year, the opposite of whatever you pick is going to come into play. You will never know how it's going to come into play or what it's going to be, but the opposite will always come into play. And the power of picking a context is that when those things that are going to come into play, that were going to come into play anyway, happen, is you now have a context that is going to be something for you to step into that next layer, that next version, that next iteration of you, your future self that is not yet here. As my husband and I were walking this morning, there was something that we've never seen in the Bay. There was 8 sea lions that were acting like they were dolphins about 100 feet off of the shore. And the waves were crashing in because we don't normally have waves here, but the waves have been really active. And I sat and we stood there and I looked out at like the immense beauty and all of that little gift that showed up in a way to appreciate it. And I thought back to Nathan. And the truth is, I would be fine staying in our place here for forever and having people come visit us and us never leaving here. And I don't have a desire to be seen or be recognized or people to know who I am. I don't care if anybody knows who I am. I didn't used to feel that way. However, that's the way that I feel now. And for where we're at and what we've created up till this point in our lives, it would be easy for me to retreat into a small, comfortable, grand life that we have created up until now. And so when I think about the context of joy that I chose for the year, and I think about Nathan and who he was to me, that man spent 30 years of his life boots on the ground in front of people, out leaving and creating a mark and a fingerprint where he left his family to go do that. And he made decisions because of a bigger vision and the greater collective good that, yes, his family definitely benefited from, but so many other people that were beneficiaries as well. And so as we stood out there this morning, I was thinking to myself, you know, how interesting it is, the things that come our way in life that are disguised as opportunities, right? His passing was an opportunity. It is an opportunity, right? The context that I chose, while it feels, the emotion feels the exact opposite of what I'm experiencing as I grieve the loss of such a great man, is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to step up and create an experience with that guiding light for the year. And so I want to really encourage each of you to get clear on the value of the context that you're going to choose for this year. And maybe if you've chosen one, maybe it's not the exact one. Maybe there's a deeper context for you to choose that is going to be a catalyst for you to grow into the future version of you in 2023 that doesn't yet exist in a way that's worthy of you, of what's actually possible. Now, I know this has been kind of a heavy conversation. Chris has such great energy and is, he's always igniting fires of inspiration and motivation within people. And I came in today in a little bit heavier conversation. However, I think it's a timely conversation because as we go into New Year's, it's time to really reset. You know, we have the opportunity to go, great, windows of time when they conclude our conclusions, right? Nathan's life concluded yesterday, way earlier than anyone thought it was going to or could have ever imagined. 2022 concluded for all of us. And so we're in a new time and a new space. And when we create from what's possible versus recreate what we've already created in some other way, it's an entirely different experience. And so as we have this conversation today, my intention was to get you thinking in a different way and maybe a little bit deeper perspective or different perspective on the power of you getting really clear and picking that guiding light, that word for you that will be that beacon and that anchor, right? The word that Rick and I chose as a couple is intimate. Why? Because we have so many people that ask us to participate in so many different ways, and we say yes. And in the saying of yes, we have been saying no to ourselves, right? And our relationship is really important to us. So we have a word as a couple, intimate. What would saying yes to Rick and Casey look like that creates that connection and that intimacy for us? So that's something we're keeping in front of us together as a couple this year. Rick's word is prioritize, right? Prioritize. When you know Rick, he's much like Chris. He has the biggest heart in the world, and he would give anyone the shirt off their back, and there's nothing he wouldn't do for someone. However, Rick's chosen the word prioritize because he realizes that he doesn't need to say no to people. And he also doesn't need to be the person to physically doing the help. If there's a resource that he could point someone to that could help the person get the objective that they're looking for, that doesn't necessarily need to physically be him, he can prioritize in that way, right? And so we're very clear and we're very intentional, and we invite you into that conversation as well because of what it can mean for your business, what it will mean for your families, and everything. I always look at, like, when we're resetting, everything that we're doing right now is a setup for what we're going to experience in the next 3 to 5 years. What happens in 2023 is going to be indicative of the trajectory of what you're living and experiencing 3 to 5 years from now. And so never underestimate what focus and intention and consistency over time will create in your sales businesses as you grow and build and scale your organizations within EXP. And you couldn't be in better hands and with a better leader than you are with Chris. And I'm really grateful to have been here. I'm happy to open it up for any questions, thoughts, comments, feedback, ahas, just things that came up for you as we've been in conversation today.
Well, I want to start off first. Thank you so much for even coming out to do this. I didn't realize that even happened yesterday. So if anything, we need to keep Nathan and his family and you guys in our thoughts and prayers. It speaks volumes that you can compose yourself and come on this call today. So had I known that, I would have rescheduled. But so thank you, Casey, for coming in and filling us full of insight, because I think it is about finding something deeper rooted, because we kind of always surfacely build some things in the beginning of the year. But then with some certain storms or challenges, it gets ripped out because it was so surface. It wasn't dug deep like a palm tree. And this was a little bit more deeper rooted. So thank you for sharing that. There's some things that I need to do for finding a word for context. And mine, honestly, is consistency, because I lack in that extremely bad. And I need to make that my anchor and also my beam of light to keep me going on for the rest of this year. So yeah, that's when I just want to say thank you so much, Casey, for even showing up. I appreciate you. And I mean, I love you and Rick to death. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Awesome. But yeah, anybody want to say anything at all? Like what comes to your mind right now? What comes to mind of you off the top of your head of a word that would be context for you, that could be an anchor to keep you grounded, or that light to keep you focused moving forward? Anybody want to share something that they were thinking about?
Yeah, I'll say. Hey, Casey, thank you for your transparency. That was just powerful to just listen to. I appreciate it. So I went through this exercise actually yesterday with a group that we're with Ken Jocelyn, that he leads it. If anybody knows him. My word was faith. And I found just from yesterday, from just doing that exercise, I've been thinking about it like almost every minute. It's my filter, and it's just such a powerful exercise. And faith for me is there's like subcategories to that. I have faith in other things that I already do. I just have to stick with them and follow through and know that it's going to work. But anyhow, that I would definitely encourage everyone else to go through that practice. It's just been in a couple of days. It's been powerful. And thanks again, Casey. I appreciate it.
I love it.
You're welcome. And one of the things, as you said that, Eric, that just popped up into my mind is having faith as a context when nothing makes sense and you believe or question how something is going to happen is when that context becomes the most important, because it is choosing to have a deep knowing that regardless of what things look like in the outer world, that those things are actually happening. And so often what happens is that we want the entropy without syntropy. And for anything that grows, there's something that gets destroyed. But we don't like the destruction because it never feels good. And the truth is, the only entropy and syntropy are always happening together, right? As human beings, we only want to focus on the positive and look at the positive and be positive. And I call that toxic positivity, because life is not one-sided. There's two sides always happening, right? And that bipolar nature, when we go, oh, I'm just going to be positive, I'm just going to have a great attitude, everything's great, even when it's freaking sucking, is not necessarily, doesn't serve us at the highest level, right? It becomes that toxic positivity where what we're saying one thing and it's not what's true, right? And what's true is there is incredible things that get created and that will be created as a result of Nate's passing, by way of example. And it does not take away the fact that there is a huge gaping hole, and it sucks that he passed, right? There is entropy and syntropy happening all of the time. So when you're, everybody looks at the new year and they're setting goals and they're creating contexts, don't be in the illusion that to create at the next level, there's also going to be some destruction that happens or some things that evaporate and go away. right? And that is why a lot of people will choose not to grow.
Hmm.
They will choose not to grow because in the growth, things go away, right? However, when you get intentionally clear, like you're clear with your context, as those things go away, your active context of faith knows that whatever goes away or changes form or changes shape or comes when you weren't expecting it, is not there to derail you. It's to remind you that the entropy and syntropy process is alive and well, and to refocus, right? It's like, it's so interesting to me when people go, well, I set these goals, however, then this happened. And so that must not be meant to be. And it's like, really? Well, that's an interesting perspective. What about you set the context for the year, or you set your goals and your intentions of what you're you're going to go create. And then life happens and you go, oh, wow, how is that happening for me? How is that thing that just happened going to be the catalyst that moves me forward on what I already decided and got clear on and set my intention on? And how am I going to use that to fuel me to go to the next level, to step up in a way that I haven't stepped up before, right? So it's that so much of the managing of expectations. And, if you look at like so much of our industry, there's a lot of personal development in it, and the positivity, personal development, like attitude is important. Yes, of course. However, every single one of us has had experiences of people that are authentic and that are real and that share, the things that are messy and they're maybe not so proud of, and they share the lessons in light of the things that they learned. And then we all have experiences of people that, everybody's got stuff. However, it doesn't matter what's going on. It's just positive, 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 positive. And we don't connect with those people in the same way. We don't feel with those people the same way because there's a missing link of empathy and humanity that isn't there in like, oh, no matter what, it's positive. No, there's both. Like there's this whole range of experience of being human. And when we shut off any part of the experience of being human, it restricts us in the impact that we can actually have with our individual fingerprints and the reach that we can have with people. So I love that, you're clear in your context for the year, and, there's going to be opportunities for you to use that context intentionally. Life will give them to you as a gift.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that. It's a good one. Faith. Who else? Anybody else have anything they want to share as a word or context or something that maybe we can share? You're open to sharing? Nobody, huh? You guys are all... I love it.
I think we're all thinking about it.
You're all thinking about it? All right. Yeah,
I think next week we can come back with a word.
I love it.
Well, I had kind of thought of a word, but now I'm not feeling it, honestly. Like I can say that, like after listening to you explain, like I just don't feel as connected to it as I did. I picked the word restoration initially at the beginning of the year, just using as a time to restore relationships, restore health, restore body, restore mind, restore spirit. It seemed like a good, like you were saying with your initial word, it seemed like a good, it kind of fit everything, right? And I'm just not, I don't feel it now.
I love that you're honest and transparent about that, right? So there's different levels of context that can get you to a higher context where you land on it, right? And so if you're willing to keep going, like, what's the higher context for that? Well, is restoration resurgam? Is it about rising again? Is the restoration about optimizing areas, all those areas that you talked about? And what is the difference between restore to bring back to life or optimize to be functioning at the highest level possible, or resurgam to rise again from the ashes? Like, what is the highest context of where you started with? And as that's the value in being willing to take the time to get really clear on why that context and what for, and what's most aligned, and you'll know it, like when it lands, right? And so some of you, many of you on the call, maybe at places where you've started this, and this is giving you a different way or different perspective. And I would say, you know, keep going and asking yourself the question, well, what's the higher context of joy? What, you know, like, what's the higher context of that? Is there something other than that, or is that it? And like, for me, it was like, nope, that is definitely it. Right. So for you, restoration, there might be a higher context of that. And that may have be like, just kind of, it's put you on the path for to start, you know, asking that question. Is it, and how I ask myself when I'm going through that process, is it more this or is it more that? Okay, it's more that. All right, now is it more this or is it more that? Well, it's more that. Okay, now is it more this or is it more that? Well, it's more this. Okay, great. Now is it more this or is it more that? Until you get to a point where like, you know that you know that you know that you know that you know, versus like, oh, I saw someone post the word transcend and that seemed cool and I like that word. That's going to be my word for 2023. Well, what does that actually mean?
I see what you're saying though, kind of like chunk it out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And there will be, I think of it like an umbrella. Everything will fit under the umbrella. Like the fact that joy is my context is going to impact everything. It's going to impact how I approach my workouts. It's going to impact how I do my miracle morning routine. It's going to impact how I interact with my husband, how I am when we travel, how I am energetically when I come to a Zoom call like this, regardless of what's going on in my life or my background. You know, and all the things behind the scenes that we all have that nobody knows about because they're not living our personal lives, right? And to think that just because somebody's able to get on a call like this and articulate and speak and go, oh man, she's got it together. Not any more so than anyone else on this call, right? We're all works in progress. It's just, this is the part and this the aspect that you're seeing, right? So as much as, and when we contribute and we pay it forward, like I am going through and it, you know, like I always say that in coaching is like when I have the opportunity to coach with or for other people, I'm coaching myself in as much in that conversation. And quite often those are the things that come up because they're the things that I needed to hear or to be reminded of. So if I could leave everybody with one thing this year is go out and serve, go out and touch people, go out and contribute you. Like every single person on this call has something unique to contribute and a mark to leave and make. And how big do you want to make that mark? Right? Do you want to have your family and a handful of close friends be the ones that feel the impact when you're no longer here? Or do you want to impact hundreds or thousands of people? Do you want to do that in your local community? Or do you want to do that in the Western Hemisphere? Or do you want to do that in the globe? Like it is, and anything is truly possible. What is most aligned for you based on your vision? And then as you share that, the things that have not yet happened to reality, in reality yet, you speak them into existence. Right? You will bring the future to the present by talking about it before it's actually happened. That is how things get created. So more than anything else, everybody, you know, we have the gift of a reset of a new year, the opportunity to get really clear, and then to be clear in, you know, somebody on the last call that I was just on was like, yeah, you know, I really resonated with wanting things for people more than they want it for themselves and getting tired of attempting to convince them of the possibilities. And it's like, great. What if you said less to more people, and the people that you said less to, they self-identified as the ones that wanted the more, and they're like, hey, they just wanted to align with you and go create more, and now you're creating more. Less energy expended. You know, we're matching the energy that's aligned with your energy, and you get to create amazing things in business and in life. So I know we're getting to the top of the hour, Chris. I want to thank you so much for who you be in the world. You are an inspiration, and I'm grateful to call you a friend and partner. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity to be here today with you and the people that you're in partnership with and aligned closely with within your organization. And I can feel the love and care that exists here. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity of being with you guys this morning.
Absolutely. And I can speak probably for everybody on this call. Likewise, this was amazing. Truly inspiring as far as the lovely, like literally understanding probably things on a deeper level than I got on this call today. Because you're right. I was kind of like Jacqueline. I had a word. I got some things. But this call made you like really kind of rethink and kind of re-strategize what really it means to me. And that, again, today, just what you've gone through. Thank you for showing up. I love you and appreciate having you a part of our group. I mean, this is what EXP is about too, right? This is one big fire and everybody is successful.
Yeah, especially with everything going on. Thank you so much, Casey. And I hope that you can find some joy in your friend's celebration of life for Nathan. So
yes.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Awesome, guys. Well, we are 3 minutes to the hour. If anybody wants to drop something really quick here to Casey or anything else, feel free here in the next 90 seconds. Otherwise, we will convey and move on. Look forward to seeing you guys again next Tuesday. The meetings are continuing on this week. We're back to EXP Explained on Thursday. Everything is 9, 11, and 2, everybody. So it keeps it simple, 9, 11, and 2, until California decides to do another crazy time change, which I don't know why we do that. It'll be 8, 11, and 2. But for now, it's 9, 11, and 2. So anyways, have an amazing week. Go find your context for it, people, and let's plug in and make 2023 amazing. Love you. Thank you,
And
Casey.
everybody, if anybody has an open house that you want me to sit, I'm trying to do open houses. So let me know if you got a listing on Oahu.
Get it.
Thanks.
Get it, Sasha. All right, guys. Love you
All
all.
right.
Have an
Bye.
amazing week.
Bye, Chris.
Bye, guys.
Your
Thank you
hair
so-
looks good.
Hey, it's growing. I'm spraying some stuff in
I
there,
just
girl.
told Cara, I can't believe how much hair you have this morning.
Hey, you know what? I bought this hair. This is actually, I bought it. So
No,
I'm just kidding.
I think Marissa helped you style it well.
She probably did. She did. She actually made me change my hair gel. I'm like, she's like, you need different hair gel. I'm like, really? So I got some new hair gel.
Well,
So,
it did the trick. It did the trick.
Okay, now that she's gonna hear that, she's gonna be like, see, I told you. Thanks a lot. I'm always losing arguments around here. Definitely need to connect though, Michelle. Get together soon.
You know what? We need to make a date for you guys to come down this month if you can, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. We can figure out absolutely. Let's figure out a day. This week we don't have the kids. She's sick though. Marissa's sick in bed right now, so she's not good.
No. Okay.
So I'm trying to stay clear and hopefully don't get sick.
Well, maybe not next week, the week after when she doesn't have the kids, because there's agents from St. Louis I think I can get to come.
Okay.
I like your thinking, Michelle.
Let's do it. Oh, there she is.
I'm here, but I'm in bed. I'm just not about to turn the camera on when I'm in bed. I'm sorry.
That's right. Are you still off on your knee?
It's just I have good and bad days, and it was just a tough night. So I'm actually in bed, and I was like, I'm not turning the camera on, and I feel so bad. But
No, that's all right. Hey, it's all good. I'm glad to see you up and about, my dear, and glad you're okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, happy New Year. Yeah, definitely. We'll figure this. If it's not this, let's go like maybe next second week and we can make that happen.
Yeah, let's plan on that. Shireen, I thought of inviting Tracy and Ronka and her daughter to.
Oh, she would. Ouch! She would come. Let me reach out to her. I was.
Totally. Well, you just got a listing that